I have tricks in my pocket. I have things up my sleeve, but I am the opposite of a stage magician. He gives you illusion that has the appearance of truth. I give you truth under the pleasant disguise of illusion. I take you back to an alley in St. Louis, the time, that quaint period when the huge middle class of America was matriculating from a school for the blind. Their eyes had failed them, or they had failed their eyes, and so they were having their fingers pressed forcibly down on the fiery braille alphabet of a dissolving economy. In Spain, there was revolution. Here, there was only shouting and confusion and labor disturbances, sometimes violent in otherwise peaceful cities such as Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit. That is the social background of the play. The play is memory. Now, being a memory play, it is dimly lighted, it is sentimental, it is not realistic. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. That explains the fiddle in the wings. I am the narrator of the play and also a character in it. Now, the other characters are my mother, Amanda, my sister, Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scenes. He is the most realistic character in the play, being an emissary from a world that we were somehow set apart from. But, having a poet's weakness for symbols, I am using this character as a symbol. As the long-delayed but always expected something that we live for. There is a fifth character who doesn't appear other than in a photograph hanging on the wall. Now, when you see the picture of this grinning gentleman, please remember that this is our father who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distance. So he quit his job with the telephone company and just skipped the lot fantastic out of town. Last we heard from him was a picture postcard from the Pacific coast of Mexico, containing a message of only 2 words: hello, goodbye, and no address.
Oh my. You know, I had the funniest experience last Sunday in church. The church was very crowded, but there was one pew way down in front, and in it sat one little woman. Went down to her and I smiled sweetly and I said, "Would you mind if I shared this space?" She said, "Yes, I would mind. This space is rented." Well, I never knew that the Lord rented space before. Oh, these northern Episcopalians. I don't mind the southern Episcopalians, but these northern ones know. Now, are you going to keep pushing your food with your fingers? The thing to do is to use a crust of bread. Not with your fingers, and chew, 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 chew. Animals have secretions in their stomachs that allow them to digest their food without mastication, but human beings have to chew, chew, chew their food. It has to be held in the mouth to savor the flavor, the delicate flavors, and then chew, chew, chew before you swallow it down. Well, now you just want your salivary glands to have a chance to function.
Mother, I have not enjoyed one bite of my dinner because of your constant directions on how to eat it. It's you with your hawk-like attention to every bite I take that makes us hurry through our meals. It's disgusting, all this discussion of animal secretion, salivary glands, mastication.
Temperament like an opera star. Oh. You are not excused from this table.
I'm getting a cigarette.
Oh, you smoke too much.
Mother, I'll bring in the coffee.
No. Sit down. You're going to be the lady. today, and I am going to be the houseboy. Well, I know you're up, but you know what? We're going to have to just keep you fresh and pretty because we're going to get those gentlemen callers.
But, Mother, I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about them. They come when you least expect it. Now, one Sunday in Blue Mountain, years ago, when your mother was a girl.
Oh, I know what is coming now.
Yes, but let her tell it.
Again?
She loves to tell it.
I had 17 gentlemen callers. There were so many that there was not enough room to seat them all, and so we had to send the houseboy down to the parish house to get the folding chairs.
How did you entertain all those gentlemen callers, Mother?
I happen to know the art of conversation.
Oh, I bet you could talk.
Yes, I could. All the girls in my day could. It wasn't enough to be pretty and have a graceful figure, although I wasn't slighted in either respect. You still had to know. You had to be nimble of wit and a tongue to meet all occasions.
What did you talk about?
Well, we talk about things of importance in the world. Nothing common or vulgar, of course. My callers were gentlemen all. Some of the most prominent men on the Mississippi Delta, planters and sons of planters. There was young Champ Laughlin. He later became vice president of the Mississippi Delta Bank. Hadley Stevenson. He was drowned in Moon Lake. Then, my goodness, he certainly left his widow a lot of money, $150,000 in government bonds. And then the Cutrer brothers, Wesley and Bates. Oh, Bates was my particular beautiful boy. But he got in a quarrel with that awful Wainwright boy and shot it out on Moonlight Casino. Yeah, well, he was shot in the stomach and he died on his way to the Mississippi hospital. Then he left his wife well provided for, too. 8 or 10,000 acres, no less. He never loved that woman. She just caught him on the rebound. They found my picture on him when he died. And then there was that boy, that beautiful, beautiful boy that every girl in the Delta had setting her a cap for. That young Fitzhugh boy from Greene County.
Now, what did he leave his widow?
He never married. You act as though all my beaux just have turned up their toes to the daisies.
Isn't this the first you've mentioned that still survives?
He made an awful lot of money. He went north to Wall Street and made a fortune. Had the Midas touch. Everything he had just turned to gold. And I could have been Mrs. Duncan Fitzhugh, but what did I do? I just went out of my way and married your father.
Mother, let me clear the table.
No. You stay fresh and pretty. Go and do your typewriter or whatever, because we're going to have gentlemen callers.
Mother, I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers.
You're joking. Not any, not one. What, has there been a tornado or a flood?
It isn't a flood. It's not a tornado, Mother. I'm just not popular like you were back in Blue Mountain. Mother's afraid I'm going to end up an old maid. Oh, hello, Mother. I was just...
Yes, I just imagine you were just doing your typing.
Yes.
Deception, deception, deception.
How was the DAR meeting, Mother?
DAR meeting?
didn't you go to the DAR meeting?
No, I did not go to any DAR meeting. I was too upset, too humiliated.
Why are you doing that, Mother?
Why? I thought you were a grown-up. But apparently, evidently, you are not.
Please don't stare at me, Mother.
Oh. I don't know. What are we going to do?
Has something happened, Mother? Mother, has something happened?
Well, what's happened is my book is all messed up, you know? I thought, oh yeah. Well, I just got so upset that I wanted to find a hole and crawl into it and stay there for the rest of my entire life.
I do wish you would tell me what's happened, Mother.
Why? How old are you, Laura? Well, we did that. You knew your age. I was under the impression that you were a mistake and you were an adult, but...
Please, Mother,
What are we going to do, huh? What are we going to do? I just don't know what the future is going to bring.
Mother, I do wish you would tell me what has happened.
I'll be all right in a minute. I'm just bewildered by life.
Please, tell me what has happened.
I went to the DAR meeting this afternoon. I was to be inducted as an officer, but I decided to stop by on my way at Rubicam's Business College.
Oh,
Yes. I went straight to your typing instructor and introduced myself as your mother. Wingfield, she says, well, we don't have any such scholar there. Well, I said, I assured her she did, and I said, my daughter Laura has been coming to classes since early January. Well, I don't know, she said, unless you mean that terribly shy girl who dropped out of school after a few days of attendance. No, I said, I don't mean that girl. I mean my daughter, Laura, who's been coming here every day for the last 6 weeks. Excuse me, she said, and she took down that attendance book. There it was, clear as can be printed. Your name and all the days you were absent. I still told her there must be some mix-up. There must be something wrong. No, she said, I remember her perfectly well now. She was the one who trembled so that her hands couldn't even touch the right keys, and when we gave her a speed test, she got sick to her stomach, had to be taken to the washroom, and then she never came back. We telephoned the house every night, every day, and we never got any answer. And that was while I was working down at that department store, demonstrating those, I suppose. No, I felt so weak I couldn't stand up. I had to sit down, I had to get me a glass of water, $50 tuition. I don't care about the money so much, but all my hopes for any kind of feature. No, I wouldn't do that, Laura. Don't you play that Victrola. What have you been doing every day when you've not been going to business college?
I've just been going out walking.
Walking? Where did you walk to, Laura?
Lots of places, mostly in the park.
Even after you started catching cold?
It was the lesser of two evils, Mother. I couldn't go back. I threw up on the floor.
From 7:30 in the morning to nearly 5 every day, you mean to tell me that you walked around the park because you wanted to make me think that you weren't going to Rubicam's Business College?
Oh, Mother, it isn't as bad as it sounds. I went inside places to get warmed up.
Inside where?
I went in the art museum and the birdhouses at the zoo. I visited the penguins every day. Sometimes I did without lunch and went to the movies. Lately, I've been spending most of my time at the Glass House, where they raise all the tropical flowers.
And you did all that just to deceive me, just for deception. Why?
Oh, Mother, when you're disappointed, you get that awful suffering look on your face, like the picture of Jesus' mother in the museum.
Hush!
I couldn't go back. I couldn't.
So what are we going to do now, huh? For the rest of our lives, sit here and watch the parades go by, amuse ourselves with the pieces of glass and play those worn-out records that your father left us as a painful reminder of him? No, we can't have a business career. No, we can't do that. It gives us indigestion. What is there left for us but dependency all our lives? I tell you, Laura, I know so well what happens to unmarried women who aren't prepared to occupy a position in life. I've seen such pitiful cases in the South. Barely tolerated spinsters living on some brother's wife or a sister's husband tucked away in some mousetrap of a room, encouraged by one in-law to go on to the other, eating the crust of humility all their lives, little bird-like women without any nest, eating the... Oh, my God. Is that the future we've mapped out for ourselves? Well, I don't think that's a very pleasant alternative. Of course, some girls do marry. Laura, haven't you ever liked a boy?
Yes, Mother. I liked one once.
You did?
I came across his picture a little while ago.
You mean a high school boy?
Yes. His picture was in the yearbook. His name was Jim. Oh, here he is in the Pirates of Penzance.
The what?
The operetta the senior class put on. Oh, he had a wonderful singing voice. I sat across the aisle from him every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the auditorium. Oh, here he is with a silver cup for debating. See his grin.
He had a grin, too.
He used to call me Blue Roses.
Why would he call you a funny name like that?
Well, remember when I had that attack of pleurosis? When I came back to school, he asked me what the matter was, and I said, pleurosis. But he thought I said blue roses, so that's what he always called me after that. Whenever he saw me, he'd holler, "Hello, Blue Roses." I didn't care for that girl he went out with, Emily Meisenbach. Oh, Emily was the best-dressed girl at Solden, but she never struck me as being very sincere. I read in the newspaper once that they were engaged. That was a long time ago. They're probably married by now.
That's all right, honey. That's all right. Oh, little girls who aren't cut out for business careers sometime marry very nice young men, and I'm going to see to it that you do, too.
But, Mother...
What now?
I'm crippled.
Don't use that word. You are not crippled. You just have a slight disadvantage, that's all. If you were born around the time when I was a girl, you'd have long skirts like this, and, well, it might even have been an advantage. You know. Look, when you have a slight disadvantage in life, what you have to cultivate is something else, like charm, or vivacity, or charm. That's what your father had plenty of, charm.
After the fiasco at Rubicam's Business College, the idea of getting a gentleman caller for my sister Laura began to play a more and more important part of my mother's calculations. It became an obsession. Like some archetype of the universal unconscious, the image of this gentleman caller haunted our small apartment. An evening at home rarely passed without some allusion to this image, this specter, this hope. And even when he wasn't mentioned, his presence hung in my mother's preoccupied look and in my sister's frightened, apologetic manner. It hung like a sentence passed upon the Wingfields. But my mother was a woman of action as well as words. She began to take logical steps in the planned direction. Late that winter and early spring, realizing that some extra money would be needed to properly feather the nest and plume the bird, she began a vigorous campaign on the telephone, roping in subscribers to one of those magazines for matrons called the Homemaker's Companion, the type of journal that features the serialized sublimations of ladies' letters who think in terms of delicate cup-like breasts, slim tapering waist, rich creamy thighs, eyes like wood smoke in autumn, fingers that soothe and caress like soft, soft strains of music, bodies as powerful as Etruscan sculpture.
Honest God. Ha! This is Amanda Wingfield? Yes, we missed you at the DAR meeting last night. Oh, how is that sinus condition? Oh, well, you are just a Christian martyr. That's what you are, a Christian martyr. Well, I was looking in my little red book, and I realized that your subscription to the Companion has about to expire just when that wonderful new serial by Bessie May Harper is starting. And it's all about the horse he set on Long Island, and a debutante, she takes her horse over the jumps, and the horse throws her, and her spine is injured. That's what the horse did. He stepped on her. Well, that was very unusual, but the good thing is that the man that she's engaged to be married to is a surgeon, and he's the only man in the whole world who can fix her from completely being paralyzed, and that is the man she's supposed to marry. Isn't that wonderful? Well, that woman, do you know what she did? She hung up on me.
Oh, Mother, Tom is trying to write.
Oh. So he is.
Now what are you up to?
Trying to save your eyes. You only have one pair of eyes, and you've got to take care of them. You know, Milton was blind, but that is not what made him a genius.
Mother, will you please just go away and let me finish my writing?
And sitting up in that position is very bad for you. Your shoulders stick out like sparrow wings.
Mother, please go busy yourself with something else.
Look,
I'm trying to write.
I have seen a medical chart, and I know what that position does to you. Now, sit up, and I'm going to show you. Now, your stomach presses against your lungs, and your lungs pressed against your heart. And that poor little heart gets so discouraged that it has no room to go on beating.
What in hell
Don't talk to me like that.
am I supposed to do?
Well, you just better listen to me.
Look, Mother, I haven't got a thing, not a single thing in this house that I can call my own.
You know, have you gone out of your senses?
Yesterday, you confiscated my books. You had the nerve to take my copy of that book by, you remember what you called it, that book by that, what did you say, Mother?
Insane, Mr. Lawrence. Yes, I took that novel back to the library. I took that awful book by that insane Mr. Lawrence back to the library. I cannot control the output of a diseased mind or those that cater it to, but I will not have that filth in my house. No.
House. Who pays the rent on this house, Mother? Who makes a slave
Don't
of
yell
himself?
at me.
Oh, no, I mustn't say anything. I've got to just keep quiet and just let you do all the talking.
Yeah, well, you're going to listen.
Well, I'm not going to hear anymore.
You will hear.
Nope, I'm not going to listen. I'm going out.
No, where are you going? You're going to listen to me, Tom Wingfield. I'm right up to my... I have no more patience at all. I can't stand your impotence. I don't have any more patience. I'm at the end of them.
What do you think I'm at the end of, Mother? Aren't I supposed to have patience to reach the end of? Oh, I know it seems unimportant to you what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, having a little difference between them. But, oh, no, you don't think that.
I think that you are doing things that you're ashamed of, and that's why you go out. That's why you go to the movies. Nobody goes to the movies every night. Nobody, well, movies don't even start at midnight and let out at 2 a.m., and you come back in here muttering and stumbling like a maniac. I can just imagine how you're doing at that warehouse there with 3 hours of sleep, and you're moping and you're doping and you're no condition.
Oh, that is true. That is very, very true. I am in no condition.
How dare you jeopardize your job? How dare you jeopardize our security? How are we going to manage?
Look, Mother, you think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I'm in love with the Continental Shoemakers? You think I want to spend 55 years of my life down there in that Celotex interior with fluorescent tubes? Honest to God, I would rather somebody pick up a crowbar and batter out my brains than go back mornings. But I go. Sure, every time you come in yelling that bloody rise and shine, rise and shine, I think how lucky dead people are. But I get up. I go. For $65 a month, I give up all I dream of doing and being ever. And you say that is all I think of? Oh, my God, Mother, if self is all I ever thought of, Mother, I'd be where he is. Gone. As far as the transportation system reaches. Oh, please don't grab at me, Mother.
I am. Where are you going now?
I'm going to the movies.
I don't believe that lie.
No, you don't? Well, you're right. For once in your life, you're right. I'm not going to the movies. I'm going to opium dens. Yes, Mother, opium dens. Dens of vice and criminals. Hangouts, Mother. I've joined the Hogan gang. I'm a hired assassin. I carry a Tommy gun in a violin case. I run a string of cat houses in the valley. They call me Killer Wingfield. Oh, I'm really leading a double life. By day, I'm a simple, honest warehouse worker, but by night, I'm a dynamic czar of the underworld. Why, I go to gambling casinos and spin away a fortune on the roulette table. Sometimes I wear a patch over one eye and a false mustache. On some occasions, I wear green whiskers. On these occasions, they call me El Diablo. Oh, I could tell you things that would make you sleepless. Our enemies plan to dynamite this place some night. Some night they're gonna blow us all sky high. And will I be glad? Will I be happy? And so will you be. You'll go up, up, up over Blue Mountain on a broomstick with your 17 gentlemen callers. You ugly, babbling old witch.
I will never speak to you again as long as you live unless you apologize to me.
One crack and it falls through.
Tom, what are you doing?
Looking for a door key.
Where have you been all this time?
I have been to the movies.
All this time at the movies.
It was a very long program. There was a Garbo picture and a Mickey Mouse and a travelogue and a newsreel and a preview of coming attractions. And there was an organ solo and a collection for the Milk Fund simultaneously, which ended in a terrible fight between a fat lady and an usher.
Did you have to stay through everything?
Of course. Oh, and I forgot. There was a big stage show. The headliner of this stage show was Malvolio the Magician. He performed wonderful tricks, many of them such as pouring water back and forth between two pitchers. First it turned into wine, and then it turned to beer, and then it turned to whiskey, and I know it was whiskey it turned into because he needed somebody to come up out of the audience to help him, and I came up both shows. It was Kentucky straight bourbon. A very generous fellow, he gave souvenirs. He gave me this. This is his magic scarf. You can have it, Laura. You wave it over a bowl of goldfish and you get a canary cage. You wave it over a canary cage and they turn into a bowl of goldfish. But the wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. We nailed him into a coffin, and he got himself out of that coffin without removing one nail. Here's a trick that would come in handy for me. Get me out of this 2x4 situation.
Tom, be quiet.
What are you shushing me for?
You'll wake up Mother.
Goody, goody. Pay her back for all those rise and shine, rise and shine. You know, Laura, don't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed-up coffin. But who in the hell ever got himself out of one without removing one nail?
Laura, tell your brother to rise and shine.
I'll rise, but I won't shine.
Laura, tell your brother his coffee is ready.
Tom, it's nearly 7. You'll make Mother nervous. Please get up. Tom, make up with Mother this morning. Talk with her. Speak to her. Make up with her.
She won't to me. It's her that started not speaking.
If you just say you're sorry, then she'll start talking.
Her not talking, is that such a tragedy?
Please, please.
Laura, you got to do what I asked you to do, or do I have to get dressed myself and go out?
Go in, just as soon as I get on my coat. Butter and what else?
Just butter. Tell them to charge it.
Oh, Mother, they make such faces when I do that.
Sticks and stones can break our bones, but the expression on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm us. Tell your brother his coffee is getting cold.
Will you do what I asked you, Tom? Will you?
Laura,
Will you?
either you go now or don't go at all.
Go in.
Ah!
Laura!
I'm all right. I slipped, but I'm all right.
If that landlord, if anybody breaks their leg on that fire escape landing, that landlord's going to get sued for everything. Who are you?
I'm sorry, Mother. I'm sorry for all those things I said. I didn't mean it. I apologize.
My devotion to my children has made me a witch. and hateful to my children.
No, you are not hateful, Mother.
You know what a hard struggle I've had all these years? And you're my right-hand power. Please don't fail me. Don't fall down now.
I try, Mother.
I know you do. Just keep on trying and you're bound to succeed. Well, you've got wonderful natural endowments. All my precious children do. But you just have to promise me one thing, Tom.
What is that, Mother?
Please don't ever become a drunkard.
I promise, Mother. I'm never going to become a drunkard, Mother.
Well, that's what frightened me, that you'd be drinking. Bowl of Purina?
Nope. Just coffee, Mother.
Shredded wheat biscuit?
Nope. Nope, Mother. Just coffee.
Now don't gulp that. Don't gulp that because too hot liquids cause cancer of the stomach. Now, why not put some cream in it?
Nope. No, thank you.
To cool it.
Nope. Nope. Thank you, Mother. I want it black.
I know, but it's not good for you. We have to do all we can to build ourselves up in these trying times that we live in. All we have is each other to cling to. You know, I wanted to speak to you, and if you hadn't spoken to me, I would have spoken to you.
Well, what is it, Mother, that you wanted to discuss?
Laura?
Oh, Laura.
Well, you know how she is. So shy and quiet. But still waters, they run deep. She notices a lot of things and broods about them, I think. The other day I came in and she was crying.
What about?
You?
Me?
Well, she has an idea that you're not happy here.
What gave her that idea?
What gives her any ideas? But you have been strange lately. Well, I'm not criticizing you. Understand that. I know your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse. But everybody in the whole wide world has to make sacrifices. And Tom, life is not easy. There's so many things in my heart that I never told you. And I never told you, but I really loved your father.
Well, I know that, Mother.
And when I see you taking after his ways, staying out late at night and drinking, it's terrifying. Laura says that you stay out of this apartment and you don't want to be here. Is that true?
No. Look, Mother, you say there's so much in your heart that you can't describe to me. Well, that's true of me, too. There's so much in my heart that I can't describe to you. So let's just respect each other's...
But Tom, why are you so restless? Where do you go at nights?
I go to the movies.
Why do you go to the movies so much?
I go to the movies because I like adventure. Adventure is something I don't get too much of at work, and so I go to the movies.
Tom, but you go to the movies entirely too much.
I like a lot of adventure.
Most young men find adventure in their careers.
Most young men are not employed in a warehouse.
The world is full of young men employed in warehouses and offices and factories.
Do all of them find adventure in their careers?
Well, they do, or they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure.
Man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, a fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play in a warehouse.
Man is by instinct. Well, don't quote instinct to me. People have gotten away from it. That is for the animals. Christian adults won't want that.
What do Christian adults want then, Mother?
The superior things, things of the mind and the spirit, certainly. They're not crazed like animals for instinct. Is that what you set your aims for? Weren't they a little higher than that, than the monkeys and the pigs?
I reckon they're not, Mother.
Oh, you're just joking. But I wanted to talk to you about Laura.
Mother, I haven't got much time.
Sit down.
You want me to punch in red at the warehouse?
You have 5 minutes. I want to talk to you about Laura.
All right. What about Laura?
We have to make making plans and provisions for her. She's 2 years older than you, and nothing has happened. She just drifts along. It frightens me to death how she just drifts along.
I guess she's the type people call home girls.
There's no such thing. And if there is, it's a pity. I mean, married with a husband and secure.
What?
Oh, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as I see the nose in front of my face more and more. It's terrifying how you remind me of your father. He was out all hours without explanation, and then never came home. He just left with me holding the bag. I saw that letter you got from the Merchant Marine. I understand your ambitions don't lie in the warehouse. I'm not sitting here blindfolded. Very well, then. Do it! But not until you find someone to take your place.
What do you mean?
Someone to marry Laura, a home of her own. Why, then you could be free to go wherever you please. On land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows. I don't say because of me, because I'm old and it don't matter, because Laura, she's young and independent. I put her in business school, a dismal failure. She got sick to her stomach. I took her to the Young People's League at church. Another dismal failure. She didn't talk to anybody, nobody talked to her. Now all she does is fool around with those glass pieces and play those worn-out records that your father left us. It's not a life for a young girl.
Well, what can I do about it, Mother?
Overcome selfishness. Oh. Self is all you think about. Tom, I have it in mind. I have in mind what I wanted to ask
Mother,
you.
I am too late to...
No. Isn't there some nice young man down
Mother.
at the warehouse? Some nice young man to bring home to dinner to meet Laura?
What?
Some clean-living man who doesn't drink.
No.
To bring home... There must be some man.
Oh, my gosh,
Will
Mother.
you please?
Yes.
Cartwright. Yes, this is Amanda Wingfield. Oh, I missed you at the DAR meeting last week. Yes. Oh, first of all, how's that kidney trouble? Oh, it is? It's come back? Oh, well, you're just a Christian martyr. Well, I was noticing in my little red book that your subscription to the Companion is about to expire, and that Bessie May Harp serial is about to... Oh, you read it already? Well, how is it? How do you like it? Oh, Ellie, you sound so mad. Oh, I know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. I didn't know anybody sleep to 9 a.m. But all I can do is apologize. Oh, you will take the subscription anyway? Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, Ella.
Across the alley was the Paradise Dance Hall. Evenings in spring, they'd open up all the doors and windows and the music would come outside. Sometimes they'd turn out all the lights except for a large glass sphere that hung from the ceiling. It would turn slowly about, filter the dusk with delicate rainbow colors. And then the orchestra would play a waltz or a tango, something with a slow and sensuous rhythm. The young couples would come outside to the relative privacy of the alley. You could see them kissing behind the ash pits and telephone poles. This was the compensation for lives that passed like mine. Lives without change or adventure. Changes and adventure, however, were imminent this year. They were waiting around the corner for all these dancing kids. Suspended in the mist over Berchtesgaden, caught in the folds of Chamberlain's umbrella. In Spain, there was Guernica. Here, there was only hot swing music and liquor, dance halls and bars and movies and sex that hung in the gloom like a chandelier and flooded the world with brief, deceptive rainbows. While these unsuspected kids danced to Dear One, the world was waiting for the sunrise. All the world was waiting for bombardments.
Tom? Tom, where are you?
Came out to smoke.
Oh, you smoke too much. 50 cents a pack, 15 cents a pack, 15 cents a pack, times 30. How much would that be? Not very much. Although it might be a little bit you could put as a deposit against a course in accounting at the Washington U. Wouldn't that be lovely?
I'd rather smoke.
Oh, I know, that's the tragedy of you. What are you looking at?
The moon.
Oh, tiny little sliver of a moon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make a wish?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what did you wish for?
That is a secret.
Oh, secret? Well, I can be just as mysterious as you. I can be just as mysterious as you.
Oh, I bet I can guess what you wished.
Why is my head so transparent?
You're not a sphinx, Mother.
No, I don't have any secrets. I tell you what I wish for all the time. Success and happiness for both my children. Now, I do that whether there's a moon. Oh, there isn't a moon.
I thought perhaps you'd wished for a gentleman caller.
What?
Don't you remember asking me to fetch one?
I remember you asking you to do that many, many times. Many times I've asked you to bring someone home.
Yes, you have made that
To meet
suggestion
Laura.
repeatedly.
Why?
We are going to have one.
What?
A gentleman caller.
You mean you've asked some nice young man over?
Yes, I've asked him to dinner.
You really did?
I did.
And did he accept?
He did.
He did?
He did.
He did?
Mhm.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
I thought you would be pleased.
Yeah. It's definite then?
Oh, very definite.
Well, how soon?
Pretty soon.
How soon?
Quite soon.
How soon?
Very, very soon.
Oh, I just hate when you go on like that.
All right, well, what do you want to know?
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Shall I go ahead and guess? All right, I'll guess. You want to know when the gentleman caller is coming over. He's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow? No, I can't do anything about tomorrow.
Why not?
I cannot do anything to... There's no time for preparations.
What preparations?
Well, there's no time. You should have called me the minute he accepted. Come on inside.
Mother, if you're going to make a fuss over this, I will call the whole thing off. I will just call that boy up and tell him not to come.
No, people don't like canceled engagements. They don't have any place to go. Now, come inside. Come on. I want to ask you some questions. Sit down.
Any particular place you'd like me to sit, Mother?
Sit down anywhere. Now, what's his name?
His name is O'Connor.
O'Connor. Oh, he's Irish. And tomorrow's Friday. Fish. Well, I can make a nice salmon loaf with mayonnaise dressing. Where did you meet him?
Well, where else would I meet him? At the warehouse, of course.
Does he drink?
Now, why would you ask me that?
Because your father did.
Oh, don't get started on all that.
He drinks then.
No, not that I know of.
But you have to find out there's nothing I want less for my daughter than a man who drinks.
Mother, aren't you being a little bit premature? I mean, after all, poor Mr. O'Connor hasn't even appeared on the scene yet.
But he will tomorrow to meet your sister. And what do I know about his character?
Mother, I want to tell you something, and I mean it right sincerely, straight from the heart. There are a lot of boys who meet girls which they don't marry.
You know, you always have me worried because you can never stick to a subject. Now, what I want to know is, what is his position at the warehouse?
His position is that of a shipping clerk.
Oh, shipping clerk. Well, that's not bad. That's where you'd be if you had some get-up. But how much does he earn?
I have no way of knowing that for sure. I judge his salary to be approximately $85 a month.
$85 a month? Well, that's not princely.
That's 20 more than I make.
I know. But let's see, $85 a month for a family man. No, I don't think he can do it. Can't be done.
Mother, Mr. O'Connor is not a family man.
Well, he might be someday. In the future, mightn't he?
Oh, I see. Plans and provisions.
Yes, you're the only man that I know of who ignores the fact that the present, now the future becomes the present, and the present becomes the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret if you don't plan for it.
I will think that over and see what I can make of it.
Don't be supercilious with your mother. Now tell me more about this. What do you call him, Mr. O'Connor?
His full name is James D. O'Connor. The D is for Delaney.
Delaney, Irish, on both sides, and he doesn't drink?
Oh, shall I call him up and ask him?
No!
What? I'll just call him up and say that you would like to know if he drinks.
You can't do that. You have to be discreet about the subject. Now, when I was a girl in Blue Mountain, if it was suspected that a gentleman caller was drinking, then the girl would have to go down to the local minister and ask about his character, or if not, his mother would have to go, or his father would have to go and find out about his character. And that's how girls from Blue Mountain were kept from making tragic mistakes.
How come you made such a tragic one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how he did it. But that face bewitched everybody. All he had to do was grin, and the whole world was bewitched. I don't know anything more tragic than a young girl putting herself at the mercy of a handsome face. I hope Mr. O'Connor is not handsome.
As a matter of fact, he isn't. His face is covered with freckles, and he has a rather large nose.
He's not downright homely, is he?
No, not right down homely. Medium homely, I'd say.
Well, a girl has to worry about the man's character anyway, not the way he looks.
That is what I've always said, Mother.
You've always said. You never even thought it. How would you even say it?
If I never even thought it, why are you so suspicious of me?
Oh, I am. I'm suspicious of every word that comes out of your mouth when you talk to me. But I want to know more about this young man. Is he up and coming?
Yes, I do believe he goes in for self-improvement.
What makes you think that?
He goes to night school.
Oh, and what does he do there at night school?
He's studying radio engineering and public speaking.
Public speaking. Well, then he has some plans to be maybe an executive. And radio engineering. Well, I think that's coming, don't you? Huh?
I think it's here, Mother.
Well, all these things are very illuminating facts. Facts every mother should know about a man calling on her daughter, seriously or not.
Just one little thing, Mother. I didn't tell him anything about Laura. I didn't let on that we had dark, ulterior motives. I just said, hey, how about coming over to dinner sometime? And he said, fine, and that was the whole conversation.
I bet you did. You're about as eloquent as an oyster. However, when he sees how pretty that child is and nice, he's going to be well. He's going to be very happy that he was asked out to dinner here.
Just one thing, Mother. You won't expect too much of Laura, will you?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, Laura seems all those things to you and me because she's ours and we love her. Why, we don't even notice that she's crippled anymore.
Don't use that word!
Mother, you have to face the facts. She is, and that's not all.
And that's not all?
Mother, Laura is very different from other girls.
Oh, I know she is, and that makes the difference. That makes her nice.
Not quite to everybody. In the eyes of others, strangers, she's terribly shy. She lives in a world of her own, and those things make her seem a bit peculiar to people outside this house.
I don't know what you mean by peculiar.
Mother, you have to face the facts. She is.
I don't know what you mean by peculiar.
Mother, Laura lives in a world of little glass animals. She plays old phonograph records, and that's about all.
Laura!
Yes, Mother.
Laura, come outside here. I want to show you something. Come here. Good to see the moon.
Moon?
There's a moon. Little slip of a moon. You're going to make a wish on it. Now, what you do is look over your left shoulder. Yes. And you make a wish.
What shall I wish for, Mother?
Happiness and a little bit of good fortune.
And so the following evening, I brought Jim home for dinner. Now, I had known Jim slightly in high school, and he was the only one at the warehouse with whom I was on friendly terms. I was valuable to him as somebody who could remember his former glory, who had seen him win the basketball games and the Silver Cup in debating. He knew of my secret practice of retiring to a cabinet of the washroom to work on poems whenever business in the warehouse was slack. He called me Shakespeare. And while the other boys regarded me with suspicious hostility, Jim took a humorous attitude toward me. Gradually, his attitude began to affect the other boys, and their hostility wore off. So they began to smile at me, too, as people smile at some oddly fashioned dog as it trots across their path in the distance. I knew that Jim and Laura had known each other in high school, for I had heard Laura speak admiringly of Jim's voice. I didn't know if Jim had remembered her, for In high school, Laura had been as unobtrusive as Jim had been astonishing. And if he did remember her, it was not as my sister, for when I asked him over to dinner, he said, "Funny thing, Shakespeare, I never thought of you as having folks." Well, he was about to discover that I did.
Why are you trembling so, Laura?
Oh, Mother, you've made me so nervous.
Why have I made you nervous?
By all this fuss, you make it seem so important.
I don't know. Every time I try to do something nice for you, you just carry on. Now, look at yourself in the glass. Oh, isn't that lovely?
You make it seem as though we were set in a trap.
Well, we are. All women are traps, and men want them to be traps. Now, look at yourself. You look like an angel on a postcard. So lovely. Well, I am going to go get dressed, and you're going to be astonished at your mother's appearance. I found an old dress in the trunk, but what do you know? I had to do a lot to it, but it broke my heart when I had to let it out. Now look at your mother, Laura. Laura! Look at your mother.
Oh, Mother, how lovely.
I led the cotillion in this dress. I won the cakewalk twice, once at the governor's ball. You should have seen how your mother just sashayed around. Well, we had dances every night, and picnics, and in spring, country rides in the afternoon. All so lovely, lovely in May, with dogwood lacy, and simply flooded with jonquils. Whenever I saw them, I said, "Wait a minute, I see jonquils." And my gentleman callers would have to get out of the carriage and help me gather up some. Oh, well, I'd just spend the afternoon with those jonquils. She'd say, "Mother," I'd say, "Mother, just because you don't have any vases, I can still gather them up." I hear thunder, gee. I wonder when they're going to arrive. Oh my goodness, before it starts to rain, I gave your brother some change so that he and Mr. Connor could go on the streetcar.
Mother.
Oh, what is it now?
What did you say his name was?
O'Connor. That's what I guess. O'Connor.
And what was his first name?
Well, I don't really remember. I think it was Jim. Yes, that's what it is, Jim.
Oh, Mother, no, not Jim O'Connor.
Yes, I believe it was Jim. I've never known a Jim that it wasn't nice.
Are you sure his name was Jim O'Connor?
I'm sure.
There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew back in high school, Tom and I. Oh, if he is the one that Tom is bringing over for dinner, Mother, I'd have to be excused. I couldn't come to the table.
What sort of silly talk is that?
Mother,
You mean that boy in the yearbook?
yes, don't you remember?
Laura, were you in love with that boy?
I don't know, Mother. All I know is that I couldn't sit at the table if it was him.
It won't be him. It's not the least likely it will be him, and you will not be excused from that table. Now, whether it is not, you will come to the table and you will not be excused.
I'll have to be, Mother.
Look, I don't intend to humor your silliness. Laura, I've had too much from your brother. Both. Just sit down and compose yourself until they come. Tom has forgotten his keys, so you'll have to let them in.
Oh, Mother, please, you answer the door.
No, honey, be reasonable. I haven't even finished the mayonnaise dressing yet.
Mother, please, you answer the door. Don't make me do it.
This is just one gentleman caller, just one. There's no problem. Now, you're going to answer that door.
Mother, please, you go to the door. Please.
Laura, there's the door. Now go.
Mother, you go to the
No,
door.
why have you chosen this moment to do this? You have to go to the door.
I can't.
Why can't you?
I'm sick.
I'm sick. You're sick. You and your brother have had me puzzled today. You can never act like normal children. Now, will you give me one good reason why you should be afraid to go to that door? Laura Wingfield, march right to that door. Now, I've got to put courage in you for living.
Yes, Mother.
Laura, this is Jim. Jim, this is my sister, Laura.
Well, I didn't know Shakespeare had a sister. How are you, Laura?
How do you do?
Well, I'm okay. Your hands are cold, Laura.
Yes. Well, I've been playing the Victrola.
Well, you must have been playing some classical music on it. Or you ought to play some hot swing to warm you up. Oh, what's the matter?
Oh, Laura? Laura is terribly shy.
Oh, shy. Well, did you know it's unusual to meet a shy girl nowadays? I don't believe you ever mentioned you had a sister.
Well, now you know I have one. You want a piece of the paper?
Oh,
Comics.
Comics. Sports. Well, I see that Dizzy Dean is on his bad behavior.
Really?
Yeah. Well, hey, where are you going?
Oh, just out on the terrace to smoke. Oh.
Well, you know, Shakespeare, I'm gonna sell you a bill of goods.
What goods?
Well, a course I'm taking.
What course?
It's a course in public speaking. Now, you and me, we are not the warehouse type.
Huh. That is good news, but what does that got to do with public speaking?
Well, it fits you for executive positions. I tell you, it's done a hell of a lot for me.
In what respect?
Well, in all respects. Now, you've got to ask yourself, what's the difference between you and me and the guys in the office down front? Now, you think it's brains? No. Ability? No. Then what? Primarily, it amounts to just one single thing.
Now, what is that one thing?
Social poise. The ability to square up to anyone and hold your own on any social level.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
is that you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother.
Make yourselves comfortable.
We will.
Would you ask Mr. O'Connor if he would like to wash his hands?
No, thank you, ma'am. I took care of that down at the warehouse. Tom.
Huh?
Mr. Mendoza was speaking to me about you.
Favorably?
What do you think?
Well,
You're going to be out of a job if you don't wake up.
I'm waking up.
Yeah, but you show no signs.
Signs are interior. I'm just about to make a change. Now, I'm right at the point of committing myself to a future that doesn't involve the warehouse or Mr. Mendoza or even a night school course in public speaking.
Now, what are you gassing about?
I'm tired of the movies.
The movies.
Yes, the movies. Look at them. All those glamorous people having adventures, hogging it all, just gobbling the whole thing up. People go to the movies instead of move in. Hollywood characters are supposed to have all the adventures for everybody in America, while everybody in America sits in a dark room and just watches them have it. Yes, or until there's a war. Well, that's when adventure becomes available to the masses. Everybody's dish, not only Gable's. And then the people sitting in the dark room come out of the dark room and just go off to have an adventure themselves. Oh, goody, goody. It's our turn now to go off to the South Sea Island, to make a safari, to be exotic, far off. But I'm not patient. I don't want to wait till then. I'm tired of the movies and I'm about to move.
Move?
Yes.
Well, when?
Soon.
Where? Where?
I'm starting to boil inside. I know, I seem dreamy, but inside, I'm boiling. Whenever I pick up a shoe, I shudder a little, thinking about how short life is and what that means. Whatever that is, I know it does not mean shoes, except as something to wear on a traveler's feet. Look.
What?
I'm a member.
The Union of Merchant Seamen.
I paid my dues this month instead of the electric light bill.
Well, you'll regret that when they turn off the lights.
I won't be here.
Well, yeah, but how about your mother?
I'm like my father, the bastard, son of a bastard. You see how he grins? And he's been absent going on 16 years.
You're just talking, you drip. Well, how does your mother feel about all this?
Shh. Here comes Mother. She's not acquainted with any of my plans.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
is that you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother. Why, Mother, you look so pretty.
Why, I think that's the first compliment you ever gave me, and you should look a little friendlier when you're giving me that compliment. But that's all right. Mr. O'Connor!
How do you do,
Oh,
ma'am?
I've heard so much about you. I said to my son Tom, well, if you've talked so much about this, Mr. O'Connor, paragon that he is down at the warehouse, you should invite him home to dinner. And, you know, he just doesn't have any southern hospitality, does he? Well, I think that instead of singing any praises, we should just sit down. Tom, why don't you just open the, okay, put a little air there so we can get some fresh air. It's a little warm in here.
Mother, how about our supper?
Oh, wow, Laura has been making supper. Why don't you ask Laura? She's in charge of supper. Tell her your hungry boys are ready for supper. Okay.
Yes, Mother.
Did you meet Laura?
Well, she came to the door.
She's pretty, isn't she?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, it's rare for a girl as sweet and as pretty as Laura to be domestic. Oh, Laura's very domestic. I am not domestic at all. I can't even make anything except an angel food cake. Well, when I was a girl, we lived in the South, and I lived on a big plantation with lots and lots of servants, and gone, all the vestige of Southern living, gone. Well, what am I going on about I was supposed to marry a planter, but I didn't. Man proposes and woman accepts. To vary that old saying, I married no planter. I married a man who works for the telephone company, that gallantly smiling man up there. Telephone man who fell in love with long distance. Now he travels, and I don't even know where. But what am I going on for my trip? Tom!
Yes, Mother.
What about supper?
Why, supper is on the table.
Oh, so it is. How lovely. Laura!
Yes, Mother.
Mother, Laura isn't feeling too well and thinks that she better not come to the table this evening.
Mr. Connor, sit
thank you, ma'am.
down.
Thank you.
Laura, come to the table. You have to say grace.
Oh, Mother,
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
She lay her down on the couch there. You are sick. Well, you know, she was standing over a hot stove and the heat and everything. Just sit down.
Oh.
Tom, how's she doing?
She's better now, Mother.
Well, Tom, you're going to have to say grace.
What?
A grace. You know what we say before we eat?
For these and all thy mercies, God's holy name be praised.
Mr. O'Connor, I've had such a wonderful evening. It was so exciting tonight. Haven't had such a nice one in a long time.
Oh, well, let me give you a toast, Mrs. Wingfield.
Oh, a toast.
Here's to the Old South.
To the Old South.
Oh, hey. Mr. Lightbulb.
Where was Moses when the lights went out? Do you know that one, Mr. O'Connor?
No, ma'am. What's the answer to that one?
Well, I heard one thing once, but it wasn't very nice. I thought maybe you'd know another one.
No, ma'am.
Well, I'm happy I put this candelabra out here because now it can serve a purpose other than ornamentation. Do you have, either of you gentlemen have a match?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I can provide.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad I put this candelabra on there. Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, must be a burnt-out fuse. Do you know anything about burnt-out fuses?
Oh, well, I know a little bit about them, ma'am. But where's the fuse box?
In the kitchen. Oh, be careful, it's dark. Oh, I hope we didn't lose him. Oh, well, electricity is such a mysterious thing. You know, the whole universe is mysterious to me. Wasn't it Benjamin Franklin who tied a key to a kite? Well, I'd like to have seen that. He might have looked mighty silly. But people say that science clears all the mysteries up, but in my opinion, they just keep adding on. Have you found it yet?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I found it all right. But them fuses look okay to me.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
that light bill I gave you several days ago, the one that I got the notice about,
Oh, yes, you mean last month's bill?
you didn't neglect it by any chance?
Well, I
Yeah, well, I guess you did. I might have known it.
Well, maybe Shakespeare wrote a poem on the back of that light bill, Miss Wingfield.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to spend the rest of the evening in the 19th century.
Well,
well, it was very nice of them to wait at least until we finished our dinner before they plunged us into eternal darkness.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Tom, as a penalty for your carelessness, you can help me with the dishes.
Well, can I be of some help, ma'am?
No, that's all right.
Well, I ought to be good for something.
Oh, what did you say?
I just said I ought to be good for something.
Oh, well, then Laura's all in the front room by her lonesome.
Oh.
Well, why don't you take this candelabra, and we'll give her a little oh no, dandelion wine. Oh, my chonkles. You think you can handle them both?
Well, I can try, ma'am. How are you feeling now? Any better?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, well, this is for you. It's just a little dandelion wine.
Thank you.
Well, drink it, but don't get drunk. Say, where'll I put the candles?
Oh, anywhere.
Oh, how about right here on the floor? Any objections?
No.
All right. Well, I'll just put a newspaper under it to catch the drippings. There we go. Say, I like to sit on the floor. You mind if I do?
Oh, no.
Would you give me a pillow?
What?
A pillow.
Oh.
Thank you. What about you? Don't you like to sit on the floor?
Oh, yes.
Well then, why don't you?
I will.
Grab a pillow. I can't see you sitting way over there.
I can see you.
Yeah, but that's not fair. I'm right here in the limelight. There you go. Now I can see you. Well, are you comfortable?
Yes, thank you.
So am I. Comfortable as a cow. Mmm. Say, would you care for a piece of chewing gum?
No, thank you.
Oh, well, I think that I will indulge. Gee, think of the fortune made by the guy that invented the first piece of chewing gum. It's amazing, huh? Well, did you know that the Wrigley Building is actually one of the sights of Chicago? I saw it the summer before last, the Century of Progress. Did you take in the Century of Progress?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, it was a wonderful exposition, believe me. Now, you know what I was most impressed by? The Hall of Science. It teaches you what the future will be like in America. Oh, it's more wonderful than the present day is. Say, your brother tells me you're shy. Is that right, Laura?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, I judge you to be an old-fashioned type of girl, and I think that's a wonderful type to be. I hope you don't think I'm being too personal.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes?
I think I will take that piece of chewing gum, if you don't mind. Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing at all?
Singing me?
Yes, I remember what a beautiful voice you had.
You heard me sing?
Very often. I don't suppose you remember me at all.
You know, as a matter of fact, I thought that I'd remembered you. Well, when you opened the door, I was about to say your name, but the name I was about to remember, well, it wasn't a name at all, so I stopped myself before I said it.
Wasn't it Blue Roses?
Blue Roses! Blue Roses! Oh, my gosh, yes. I didn't connect you with high school somehow or other, but that's where it was. It was high school. Oh, my, I didn't even know Shakespeare had a sister. Gee, I'm sorry.
I didn't expect you to. You barely knew me.
But we did have a speaking acquaintance.
Yes,
Didn't we have a class and something together?
Yes, we did.
What class was that?
It was singing, chorus.
Oh!
We sat across the aisle from each other every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the
Yes,
auditorium.
I remember now. You were always the one that came in late.
Yes, well, it was so hard for me getting upstairs. I had that brace on my leg then. It clumped so loud.
Oh, well, I never even noticed.
To me, it sounded like thunder.
I never heard any clumping.
Everybody was seated by the time I came in. I had to walk in front of all those people. My seat was in the back row. I had to go clumping up the aisle with everybody watching.
Oh, gee, you shouldn't have been so self-conscious.
I know, but I was. It was always such a relief when the singing started.
Well, I remember, and I used to call you Blue Roses, yes. How did I ever get calling you a silly name like that?
I was out of school for a little while with pleurosis, and when I came back, you asked me what the matter was, and I said pleurosis, and you thought I said blue roses. So that's what you always called me after that.
Oh, God, I hope you didn't mind.
Oh, no, I liked it. I wasn't very well acquainted with many people.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember you sort of stuck by yourself. And
I never did have much luck making friends.
Well, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Well, I started out badly.
What you mean, being?
Yes, it sort of stood between me and...
Well, you mean you were shy with people?
I tried not to be, but I never could...
You couldn't overcome it.
No, I never could.
Yes, well, I guess being shy is something you have to work out of, kind of gradually.
Yes, I guess it...
Takes time.
Yes.
You know something, Laura? People are not so dreadful when you get to know them. And that's what you have to remember. And practically everybody has problems, not just you, but everybody has problems. Now, being disappointed, well, that's one thing. Now, I may be disappointed. You take me, for instance, when I left high school, I thought I'd be a lot further along than I am now. Well, you remember that wonderful write-up they had about me and the torch?
Yes, I do.
Said I was bound to succeed in anything I went into. Holy jeez, that's the torch!
Oh. Here you are in the Pirates of Penzance.
The pirates! Oh, better far to live under that brave black flag I fly. Yes, I sang the lead in that operetta.
Yes, so beautifully.
Oh, no.
Beautifully, beautifully.
Oh, you heard me then?
I heard you all 3 times.
No.
Yes.
You mean all 3 performances?
Yes.
What for?
Well, I wanted to ask you to sign my program.
Well, then why didn't you ask me?
Well, you were always surrounded by your own friends,
You should
so
have
much
just walked
so that...
right up to me and said, "Here is my program."
Well, I thought you might think that I was...
might think I was what?
Oh.
Oh. Well, yeah, I was beleaguered by females in those days.
You were terribly popular.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody liked you.
I was spoiled in high school.
Yes, but everybody did like you.
Including you?
Well, yes, I suppose I did too.
Give me that program, Laura. Better late than never.
What a surprise.
My signature might not be worth very much right now, but someday it may increase in value. Being disappointed. Now, that's one thing. But being discouraged, that's another. Now, I may be disappointed, but I am certainly not discouraged. Say, you finished high school.
I made bad grades on my final examinations.
You mean you dropped out?
I didn't go back. How is Emily Meisenbach getting along?
Oh, that krauthead.
Why do you call her that?
Well, because that's what she was.
You mean you're not still going with her?
I never even see her.
I read in a newspaper once that you were engaged.
Well, yeah, but I don't believe that propaganda.
You mean it wasn't the truth?
It was only true in Emily's optimistic opinion.
Oh.
Well, what have you done since high school?
What?
I said, what have you done since high school?
Oh, nothing much.
Well, you must have been doing something all this time.
Well, yes.
Well, then, such as what?
I took a business course at the business college.
Oh, you did? How did that work out?
Well, not very well. I had to drop out. It gave me indigestion.
Well, what are you doing now?
Oh, nothing, really. Oh, please don't think I sit around just doing absolutely nothing. I do have my glass collection, which takes up a good deal of my time. Glass is something you have to take very good care of.
Say, you know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex. Do you know what that is? That's when a fella low rates himself. Now, I understand it because I had it too. Oh, yes, until I took up a course in public speaking and developed my voice and learned that I had an aptitude for science. Did you know that until then, I did not think of myself as outstanding in any way whatsoever?
Oh, my.
Now, I don't make a regular study of it, mind you. but I have a friend who tells me I can analyze a person better than doctors who make a profession of it. Now, I don't claim that's necessarily true, but I sure can guess a person's psychology. Excuse me, Laura. I always take it out when the flavor is gone. I'll just wrap it up in this piece of paper. I know what it's like to get it stuck on a shoe. Well, yep, that's what I judge to be the principal trouble. A lack of confidence in yourself as a person. Now, I'm basing this fact on a number of your remarks tonight and certain observations I've made. For example, that clumping you said was so awful in high school. You said you dreaded going upstairs. You see what you did? You dropped out of high school. You gave up an education. All because of a little clump, which as far as I can see, well, it was non-existent. Oh, a little physical defect is all you have? Hardly noticeable even. Magnified 1,000 times by your imagination. You know what my strong advice to you is? You've got to think of yourself as superior in some way.
In what way would I think?
Why, man alive, Laura, look around you. And what do you see? A world full of common people. All of them born and all of them gonna die. Now, which one of them has 1/10 of your strong points? Or mine? Or anybody else's for that matter? You see, everyone excels in some one thing. Well, some in many. Now, you take me, for instance. Now, my interests happen to lie in electrodynamics. I'm taking a night course in radio engineering on top of a fairly responsible job at the warehouse. Now, I'm doing all that and studying public speaking.
Oh,
Because
my.
I believe in the future of television. I want to be right there with it when it goes up. Oh, I'm already getting the right connections. I want to get in on the ground floor. All that's left now is for the industry itself to get underway. Full steam. You know, knowledge. Zip, money, zip, power, wham! That's the cycle democracy is built on. Well, you must think I think a lot of myself.
No, I don't.
Well then, what about you? Isn't there one thing you care about more than anything else in this world?
Yes.
Well then, such as what?
Well, I do, as I said, have my glass collection.
Oh, you do? Well, what kind of glass is it?
Little pieces of it, ornaments mostly. Most of them are little animals made out of glass, the tiniest little animals in the whole world. Mother calls them the glass menagerie. Here's an example of one, if you'd like to see it. He's one of the oldest. He's nearly 13. Oh, be careful, though. If you breathe, he breaks.
Well, then I'd better not take him. I'm pretty clumsy with things.
Go on, I trust you. There. See, you're holding him gently. Oh, hold him up to the light. He loves the light. See how the light shines through him.
It sure does shine.
I know I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
Say, what kind of a thing is this one supposed to be?
Haven't you noticed the single horn on his forehead?
Oh, a unicorn, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, unicorns, aren't they extinct in the modern world?
I know.
Well, poor little fella must seem all kind of lonesome.
If he is, he doesn't complain about it. He sits on a shelf with lots of other horses that don't have horns, and they seem to all get along just fine.
Yeah, so they do. Well, say, where'll I put them?
On the table. They all like a change of scenery now and then.
Well, they do. Well, hey, look how big my shadow is when I stretch. Yes!
Oh, yes, it went all the way across the ceiling.
Well, it stopped raining. Say, where does the music come from?
The Paradise Dance Hall across the alley.
How about cutting the rug a little, Miss Wingfield? Or is your program all filled up? Now, let me take a look at it. Let me look. Oh, every dance is taken. I'll just have to scratch some of them out. Ooh, a waltz.
Oh, I can't dance.
There you go with that inferiority stuff.
I've never danced before in my life.
Come on, try.
Oh, but I'll step on you.
Well, I'm not made out of glass.
How do we start?
Well, you just hold your arms up a little.
Like this?
A little bit higher. Well, now don't tighten up. That's the principal thing about it. You just relax.
I don't think you can budge me.
What, do you bet I can't?
Oh. Oh, yes, you can.
Well, now loosen up now, Laura.
I'm trying.
Come on, have fun with it. Loosen up your backbone a little.
I know, but it's so hard.
Okay. There you go, Laura. There you go. Ready. Oh, we knocked the little glass horse over.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, is he broken?
Now he's just like all the other horses.
Oh, you mean he's lost
He's lost his horn. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Well, gee, I bet you'll never forgive me. I bet that was your favorite piece.
I don't have favorites. Much. It's no tragedy. Glass breaks so easily, no matter how careful you are. The traffic jars the shelves and things fall off of them.
Well, I'm awfully sorry I was the cause of it.
I'll just pretend that he had an operation. The horn was removed to make him feel less freakish. Now he will feel more at home with all the other horses, the ones that don't have horns.
Well, I'm glad to see you have a sense of humor about it. You know, you're different than anyone else I know. Do you mind me telling you that? Because I mean it. You make me feel sort of, well, I don't know how to say it. I'm usually pretty good at expressing things, but this is something I just don't know how to say. Did anyone ever tell you that you were pretty? You are. But in a different way than anyone else. And all the nicer because of the difference. Oh, boy. I wish that you were my sister. I'd teach you how to have confidence in yourself. Because being different is nothing to be ashamed of. Because other people aren't such wonderful people. They're 100 times 1,000. You're 1 times 1. They walk all over this earth, and you just stay here. They're as common as weeds. And you, well, you're blue roses.
But blue is wrong for roses.
But it's right for you. You're pretty.
In what respect am I pretty?
In all respects, Laura. Your eyes, your hair, even your hands are pretty. You think I'm saying this just because I've been invited over to dinner and I have to say something nice. I could do that. I could say a whole lot of things without being sincere. But I'm talking to you sincerely. I happen to notice you had that inferiority complex that kept you from feeling comfortable with people. Someone ought to build your confidence way up and make you feel proud instead of shy and turning away and blushing. Someone ought to kiss you, Laura. Gee, I shouldn't have done that. That was way off the beam. Would you care for a cigarette? Oh no, you don't smoke, do you? Well, peppermint? You want a lifesaver? My pocket's a regular drugstore. Listen, Laura, if I had a sister like you, I'd do the same thing as Tom, and I'd invite home fellas to meet you. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Maybe that wasn't the idea in having me over. But what if it was? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that in my case, I'm not in a position to... I can't ask for your number and say that I'll phone. I can't call you up next weekend and ask for a date. Well, I just thought I'd explain the situation in case you misunderstood and I hurt your feelings.
You mean you won't call again?
No, I can't. See, I've got strings on me, Laura. I've been going steady. I go out all the time with this girl named Betty. Well, she's a nice, quiet homegirl like yourself, and Catholic and Irish. And in a great many ways, we get along fine. I met her on a moonlight boat trip up the river to Alton on the Majestic. Oh boy, right away from the start, it was love. Love has made a new man out of me, I tell you. The power of love is pretty tremendous. It's the kind of thing that changes your whole world. Well, as it happens, Betty's aunt took sick and she had to go up to Centralia, so naturally, when Tom invited me to dinner, naturally I accepted, not knowing. I wish you would say something. What are you doing that for? What do you mean? You want me to have him? What for?
A souvenir.
I'm coming, children. Well, I bet you all would like some refreshments now. You know that lemonade song, Mr. O'Connor? Lemonade, lemonade, stirred in the shade with a spade, good for any old maid.
No, ma'am, I don't know that song.
Laura, why are you so serious?
Well, we were having a serious conversation.
I don't understand young people these days. You know, when I was young, I was gay about everything.
Well, you haven't changed a bit, Mrs. Wingfield.
Well, guess it's the gaiety of the occasion. Well, here's to the gaiety of the occasion.
You shouldn't have gone through all that trouble, ma'am.
It was no trouble at all. Didn't you hear Tom and I cutting it up in the kitchen? I was so outdone that he hadn't brought you here sooner for dinner. But now that you're here, you're going to come back often. Often. Like, what's a good night for you? Saturday?
Oh, well, actually, ma'am, I have a few time clocks to punch in. Well, one in the morning and one at night.
You're very ambitious. You have 2 jobs.
Well, not work, ma'am, but Betty.
Betty. Who's Betty?
Oh, just the girl. Well, the girl I go steady with.
Oh, you mean it's serious?
Well, yes, ma'am. We're going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Tom didn't tell me that you, engaged.
Oh, well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet. You know how it is. They call you Romeo and that sort of thing. But it's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield. I guess this is what's meant by Southern hospitality. I hope you don't feel like I'm rushing out. It's just that Betty, well, she's on her way from Centralia, and by the time my jalopy gets down to the train station, her train will be in, and so, well, some women are pretty upset if you keep them waiting.
Oh, yes, I know all about the tyranny of women. Well, I wish you happiness and success in your life. And you do, Laura, too. Wish him that, right?
Yes, Mother, I do.
Well, goodbye, Laura. I'll treasure the souvenir. And remember the good advice I gave you. Thanks again, ladies. Good night. So long, Shakespeare.
Well, well, well. Things have an awful way of turning out badly. I wouldn't do that, Laura. I wouldn't play that Victrola right now. Tom?
Yes, Mother.
Come here, I want to tell you something. Very funny.
Has our gentleman caller gotten away already?
Well, you didn't mention that he was engaged to be married.
Jim? Engaged?
That's what he informed us.
I'll be jiggered.
Oh, it seems very peculiar.
What is so peculiar about it, Mother?
I think it's peculiar that you didn't know that he was going to be married a friend of yours down at the warehouse.
What is so peculiar about it, Mother? He is my friend, but how would I know?
Because you're with him all the time. He's your best friend, supposedly, being engaged to be married. You know, you don't know things anyway. You just live in a dream. You manufacture illusions. That's all. Where are you going now? Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies, Mother.
Oh, that's right. Just go to the movies now, right? Don't think anything about us. Just make fools of ourselves entertaining some other girl's fiancé. All the effort, all the preparations, all the clothes, everything, just all the expense, and all for what? To entertain some other girl's fiancé? Well, go to the movies then. Don't think about us, a mother deserted, a sister who is crippled and doesn't have a job. Just go. Don't let anything interfere with your selfish pleasures. Just go to the movies. Go. Go.
All right. I will. And the more you talk to me about my selfish pleasures, the quicker I'll go, and I won't go to the movies either.
Just go to the moon, you selfish dreamer! Go to the moon!
I didn't go to the moon. I went much farther. For time is the longest distance between two places. I left St. Louis. I descended these steps of this fire escape for the last time and followed from then on in my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The city swept about me like dead leaves. Leaves that were brightly colored but torn away from their branches. I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. It came upon me unawares, taking me altogether by surprise. Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps it was only a piece of transparent glass. Perhaps I am walking along a street at night in some strange city before I have made companions, and I pass along the lighted window of a shop where perfume was sold. The windows filled with pieces of colored glass. Tiny transparent bottles in delicate colors. just like bits of a shattered rainbow. And all at once, my sister touches my shoulder. I turn around and I look into her eyes. Laura, I tried to leave you behind me, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run into a movie or a bar, I buy a drink, I speak to the nearest stranger, anything that'll blow your candles out. So nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles, Lord. And so, goodbye.
The parting of the ways, you took all my happy days and left me lonely nights. Morning never comes too soon, I can face the afternoon, but oh, those lonely nights. I feel your arms around me, your kisses linger yet. You taught me how to love you, now teach me to forget. You broke my heart a million ways when you took my happy days and left me lonely nights.